My name is David Bellamy. I've been a faculty member here at the University of Delaware since 1968, and I've been teaching mathematics and doing mathematical research all that time and loving it. I moved away from, or maybe the word I want to use is escaped from, Christianity and discovered finally, after many different iterations, that I was a pagan in 1986, and I've been practicing paganism to one degree or another, and in one form or another ever since. I don't usually use the word faith. Of course, pagans are not people of the book, so to speak. We don't. Different groups find their own paths. We experience gods and goddesses, and I insist that there are both, not just gods or not just goddesses, and more than one of each. I'm inclined to say it's not exactly a choice, it's a discovery that that's who I was. And if I ignore it and don't do anything with it at all, I feel like that there's some structure lacking in my life. It was just a profound realization that this is who I am, and not only that, that this is who I have always been, that I never needed any other kind of religion, and that my upbringing in Christianity was leading me to something that wasn't who I was. The kind of religion that I follow is not a belief-based religion. It doesn't matter whether or in what way I believe that this or that god or goddess exists. It's just that they are, in some sense, that even if they're only in my mind or the mind of other people in my community, they are, how do I want to say that? That they're there, and we experience them, and I experience them, but I don't question kind of theologically whether they have any existence outside of me or outside of the minds of my friends and fellow practitioners or not. But they reflect something that exists in the outside world that we can't quite describe. I'm inclined to suspect that in some way or other we're reincarnated, and that we may spend some time between lifetimes, but that there's too much there's so much anecdotal evidence of people remembering past lifetimes that even though it's a little hard to understand scientifically how it could happen, it kind of feels like that I'm inclined to suspect that that's the best description of the afterlife. Well, yeah, there are people who will say, "Oh, you're devil worshippers, or you worship Satan or something," and the instinctive response is that no, Satan is a Christian deity and not one of ours at all, and we don't give any credence to him one way or the other. It's kind of silly. You know, you find people who have similar understanding and similar feelings and ways of relating to the world and to each other, and it's like until I found pagan events. Well, pagan events are one of the three places I don't feel like a misfit. One of them is topology conferences, which is the branch of mathematics I do research in. One of them is science fiction convention, and the other one is pagan gatherings, or gatherings of pagans of one kind or another. I think the thing that comes to my mind is the time that my mother died about a year ago, and not quite a year ago, and even though she was a very devout Christian, I was at peace with the fact that she and I had different religious paths, and that I still loved her. And if I hadn't had that, I think I would have felt kind of that sense that it's okay to have differing paths. I think I would have had a much more difficult time emotionally with her suffering and dying. Mythology that you interact with through your religious practice, or at least I do, and I think it's the way most people do it, give you a structure to live your life through. There's a certain joy in being alive and being part of the whole vast ecosystem of the earth, and the rhythms of the earth, acknowledging the full moon, the new moon, the weather, the cycles of the whole planet, both geophysical and biological.